What's up, everybody? What's going on? It has been a cool minute since I got to do a live stream and everything like that, but I've had a busy weekend. A very busy weekend. Lots of things just happening. So it was, it's great to be back. Of course, late. Normally I do these on Saturdays, but I'm doing it today on Tuesday, my day off. In the words of Norbit, Tuesdays. Anyways, yeah, so I am going to be talking about, you guys pretty much already know because the title pretty much explains it all, but the Moto G Stylus 2022. I'll be giving you guys my more in-depth thoughts about it. Yo, what up, Baby Yoda? What's up? Welcome in. Aloha to you. Yeah, Blaze, welcome back, man. Glad to see you again. Let me know if the stream is a bit choppy or anything like that. It's just, yeah, internet hasn't been so great lately, especially with like the storms that has rolled through my city, and yeah, it's just been crazy. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna be talking about the Moto G Stylus 2022 5G, in the words of Chris Perillo, Pro Plus Premium Package. These phones got long names. I still have my Pixel 6, and I'm going to be talking about the Pixel 6a. And I could care less if people are like, you don't have the phone in hand, but I am just going to kind of just like point out some things here. And it's not so much that I'm like a very big Pixel fan. To be honest with everybody, my point of view, my perception of mobile technology and phones and stuff like that has changed quite a bit in the last several months. And so I am just going to throw out things that I feel are not being said to that degree. So I'll kind of just, start with the downside story. Let's talk Pixel 6a, right? Shout out to all those who have been posting on social media their Pixel 6a arrivals, their happiness to use it, and then also giving us the clear feedback of how their experience has been. And a lot of people has talked about fingerprint sensors being inaccurate. Was it Mike Varai for basically posted on social media that the speech to text for the Pixel 6a is not functioning right. It's all that, right? Carlos S. Tech bought the Pixel 6a and went ahead and went on to say that it overheats and that it drains battery pretty fast. These are substantial things that people are going to be super unhappy about when it comes to the Pixel 6a. And I really want to say this, like, let's not excuse the issues that some people are facing, right? At the end of the day, those people who aren't facing any problems aren't going to take to social media to say anything. Why would they? There's nothing for them to report back to everybody else. So with that being said, we're not going to see a lot of people talk about all the good things about the Pixel 6a. Those that are dropping of their experiences and it being not the best experience, they are in fact going to take to social media to say something. Of course, obviously that's what people do nowadays. They take to social media to complain. And the complaints don't seem far off, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem far-fetched type of thing. I kind of had a feeling that this may happen. Now, Tech Odyssey dropped a video that I watched and I thought was actually a pretty good video when he kind of explained that the Pixel 6a, when he got his and he unboxed it, he did check for the security patch update. There was no security patch update for it, and it was sitting on the April security patch. So around that time in April, the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro were still having issues, and Google had yet to address a lot of those issues. Like, they had addressed some, and by fixing some bugs, created bugs for the others. And so, I mean, it was tough. It took until like May into June before the Pixel 6 pretty much like ironed out from a lot of its bugs, and same with the 6 Pro. So Carlos was awesome enough on his live stream a few days ago to show that his Pixel 6a had in fact gotten the June 1st security patch update, which was kind of sad to see that he got the June update and he was having battery drain on standby, and his phone was overheating. So I was like, okay, I kind of like researched around a little bit to kind of get a little bit more of like what's happening. Other people were reporting their phones being hot. Mike from BTech Reviews, he reported that his phone was pretty hot, like was warm to the touch. He had shot some videos inside Walmart and was editing video, and the phone was very warm to the touch. Tech Odyssey reports a lot on Google Pixel phones. He's constantly making content about Pixel phones, and so he went on to say, that his phone was noticeably warm than usual. However, it in fact caused like uncomfortableness to hold it, but it wasn't where it was like superly like insanely burning his skin type of thing. I was gonna check the live stream real quick just to make sure if I'm not glitching out or anything like that, or if it's not freezing. I am using an animated wallpaper, and sometimes that tends to like mess up my stream. So let's just kind of find out after the ad. Let's see. Okay, so it's actually showing pretty good on my end. I'm just gonna leave that there for reference. Anyways, so with all these issues that's being reported about the Pixel 6a, then you have those people that's like taking to social media talking about, I told you so, Pixels are bad phones and all this other stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, pump the brakes. Pump the freaking brakes. Now, I may not have the phone in hand, and it's not something that I need to have in hand right now. I really enjoy using my Pixel 6. So I'm not in a rush to get the 6a, but I do intend to get one. And it comes back to me. And I guess so these things kind of happen in the mobile tech space now, and kind of like is the reason that I feel like that the mobile tech thing isn't so fun anymore to a lot. Like there's only a specific amount of content creators that create content about mobile technology that I do enjoy watching their videos, because they don't bring a lot of that negativity to it. And I'm not saying that everyone has to kiss the asses of Google and their Pixel phones. I'm not saying that at all, right? When there's a problem, acknowledge the problem, address the problem, and fix the problem. That's what I would say to Google on that. You have customers who are not pleased with their experience so far. You had a chance to launch this thing without it being as botched of a launch as it was for the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro, but you kind of failed on that. So let's fix it. But for those people that's like really ripping in a new one, like, and I say pump the brakes because I watch a lot of content creators. Besides me creating content and going live and talking about mobile technology, I watch other people to see where everyone's headspace is at, right? Because I don't want to regurgitate the same crap that everybody else is saying. So I see a lot of creators who thoroughly bash the crap out of the Pixel 6a, and I can name off the same issues that the Pixel 6a is having that the Galaxy S21 Fan Edition had, the iPhone has had, the the Galaxy S21s had, OnePlus has had. I can name off different phones that have had the same issue, and those get a pass. You guys heard me rant this way before, because it gets pretty stupid that phones that overheat get a pass. Phones that the fingerprint sensor wasn't working the best gets a pass. It's like Oprah here handing out passes, but when it comes to Google, they don't get a pass. Why is that? I always ask myself that all the time. Why is Google always the one that just gets jabbed? Like, Google is the new LG where like everyone's just gonna crap all over them. Doesn't matter, right? Like, I don't disagree with people who say, I spent $450 on this phone, I want it working right out the box. Why not, right? You're not paying half the price for the Pixel 6a, so the Pixel 6a shouldn't be performing at half the rate that it's supposed to. I agree. Also, things get fixed over time. There's no such thing as a perfectly released phone today. Every manufacturer's quality control pretty much has gone down like 31 to 32%. Okay? There's always phones that come out of a box that's from a bad batch, has issues, and it's only with that specific batch of built phones versus the remaining. This happens nowadays, right? So I'm not saying everyone has to forgive the fact that Google released the Pixel 6a and it has some issues. Not saying that at all whatsoever. Only for the simple fact is that those things do need to be fixed and addressed, or addressed and then fixed. Let's go in the correct order. But what I will say then, I'll always say this, is that in my usage with Google Pixel phones, I've noticed that over time, they tend to get better. No, I don't have the Pixel 6a yet. Okay, have I played around with one? Yes. But I don't own one. I have the Pixel 6. And there's not really far of a difference between the 6 and the 6a. Specifically thinking processor chip, right? They both, all three, the 6, the 6 Pro, the 6a, they all use the same Tensor chip, same generation. It is not the Tensor 2. There's those people who are running around talking about the Pixel 6a's, Tensor 2 chip is crap. Yeah, it's not using the second generation. The second generation will come in the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro, and whatever this mystery third device is. But the 6a uses the first generation Tensor, and I don't put the heavy expectations of Google to come right out of the gate with a perfectly built chip. Yes, they have used Samsung to help them create the chip. There are those people who say like, oh, they should have never strayed away from Qualcomm. Well, doing my research and everything, yes. If they had stuck with Qualcomm, then the ability to keep these phones updated, if they so chose to, right? I know Google landed on three years of support, 5 years of security. Well, 3 years of updates, 5 years of security patch updates. And people were frowning like, why can't they do like Apple and go 5 years? Well, I mean, Google doesn't have the long standing that Apple and their iPhones do, right? Their iPhones is well recognized. iPhones, you say iPhone, people know what it is. You say Google Pixel in a room, and maybe about 60% of the people know what it is. Total of 80% of the people has heard of it, and there's 10% that's never heard of it and don't know exactly what it is, right? So Pixels don't have that recognition that iPhones does, right? So to say that Google should have the arrogance to go 5 years support on their phones when they need to make sales. At the end of the day, people, it's business. This thing, I know Team Pixel people get their phones. Technoid has thrown it out there. Team Pixel gets their free shit. Free phones are given out from Google, and that makes up, a huge chunk of the percentage of people using Google Pixels. And he's not wrong on that. There's a lot of people that are given the phone to use, and it's Google's way of trying to market and get more and more people to learn and know what a Google Pixel is. But Pixels don't have that recognition that iPhones do. So to say that Google is being idiotic in the sense of just doing 3 software updates and 5 years of security patch updates, they're kind of meeting in the middle, right? We as the techies who know what a Google Pixel phone is, we would love 5 years of software support and 7 years of security patch updates, right? We would love to have 5 major software updates to our Google Pixel phone. The problem with that is that it doesn't get us to go buy the phone. It doesn't get Google making money. And therefore, with the money that Google's not making, it'll just be a bust. What up, Carlos? It'll be a bust. It'll be a total bust, right? So we want 5 years. Google's landed on 3, kind of meeting in the middle, kind of like, okay, you know what? We're going to give you that longevity, sort of. But we need people to buy the phones. We need to make money on this, right? There's no business that goes out there to say that I'm just in it for the fun of it, right? They're not content creators on YouTube that tend to just make content because they want to chill, right? Google is a business at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how much money they have. I know people like to try and find different stats and statistics to kind of just throw it in there. Yeah, you can sideload after 3 years. Yeah, you can. And you know what? If you know how to do, custom ROMing and stuff like that, then you can actually build your own ROMs. But that's different. But like in general, what I'm saying is that Google's not going to be on that platform that iPhone is. iPhone has been out of the gate from the beginning, right? They were the standard of smartphones. I remember every manufacturer, Samsung and their proprietary software trying to compete with the iPhone, right? Y'all remember the Samsung Instinct and the Instinct HD and then just, they all tried, right? iPhone set the standard, basically. Let's just call it for what it is. And then BlackBerry came along, and BlackBerry with a QWERTY keyboard, and what makes it easy to type. Android and Android was just scratching at the surface, right? So iPhone's been around for a long time. They have built a long-lasting name that anyone can just recognize their stuff. You don't even need to see the Apple logo on an iPhone to know it's an iPhone. You can distinctly tell just by looking at it. This is why I rock iPhone as the main and Pixel as second now. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their preferences too, right? Like, I wouldn't want everyone to like Pixels as much as I do. It would just be so stale if everyone did. I like that people have their different preferences, and I think it should stay that way, right? Like, people want iPhones, use iPhones. They want Galaxies, use Galaxies. You want, Pixel, use Pixel. Whatever it may be, use it. Nothing phone, because I know that's gonna come out of the woodwork, and OnePlus. So, kind of like throwing back, the only thing that I would say is, like, yeah, while there are issues with the Tensor chip, I never expected Google to have a chip built and have it perfected right out of the gate. If you go back to yesteryear's iPhones, not even Apple had it 100% great in the very beginnings of it, right? But you know what? They never backed down. They never said, screw it. Let's partner up with Qualcomm and do this. They kept to it. With let's see, it's the updates, bro. That's why I like iPhone. And this Tensor chip updates take forever. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to address this, and I don't mean to sound like an asshole when I say this. And I see a lot of people talking about it. The updates take too long, but the updates run in background. It doesn't hinder you from using your phone while it's updating. So you set the update. If you want to do it off cellular or Wi-Fi, you choose it, but then you hit resume, and then you can flick away and pop into YouTube and watch a video, or you can get on Twitter. You can still use your phone functionally while it's updating in background. So the fact that it takes a while to upgrade or to update the software, it's not a killer for me. I can't see why that's such a complaint. I can see it being a complaint if it takes an hour to update the software and your phone is unusable. Like the old days of Android, where you had Andy the Android logo with his chest open and like a polygon thing just kind of spinning around. If it was that, I can definitely understand why there's going to be a frustration, because if you can't use your phone for over an hour or 2 hours, that's annoying as hell, especially if you're only using one phone, right? Because not everybody carries two phones with them. I can see that, but the fact that you can still use your device while it's updating in background, I just can't see that being like a logic complaint. I just can't. I mean, I've tweeted today on Ace Lucero's tweet. I think it was Ace Lucero, one of them, but they said something. They said something about the updates, and people were kind of chiming in on the comments of the tweet. And I was just being funny. I just put, JG Wentworth it. It's my update, and I want it now. But I wasn't really necessarily saying like I support that. The updates don't even hinder you from using it. That's why I can't stand on the side with other people who are saying I have a legitimate complaint about the Google Pixel phones. Their software updates take way too long. Like, yes, they do. I agree that they do take long. I agree. They take, at least for me, the longest that I've ever had to experience a software update was like 38 to 45 minutes. And that's the craziest thing. The Samsung, wait, hold on. Apple always had it. Oh yeah, let me get back. Apple always had it. Had an integration, and with other Apple devices. Same with Samsung. These companies are slowly getting smarter and charging more for the consumer. Samsung Moto or no other brand takes that long, and Google is the main sponsor of Android. Now, I get what you're saying. So you're putting Google at this high pedestal where, like, Google, it's Android's your software. So if all these other companies can take a while, doesn't take a while, like Moto and them, it doesn't take a while for them to update, but yours does. But like, I would say, to put it all to rest, somebody needs to go and infiltrate Google. Because I can have a speculation, and it's only speculation, right? Like, I don't work at Google, so I don't know. The only thing that I do know, the first thing that comes to my mind when you list companies like Samsung, Moto, and other brands versus Google, is that Moto, Samsung, and other brands aren't deeply invested in AI as Google is. And if you and really, honestly, it's like comparing apples to oranges, okay? I use the Moto G Stylus and my Pixel 6, right? There are things that my Pixel 6 has with Android 12 that the Moto G Stylus doesn't have. And the Moto G Stylus rocks a near stock Android experience, right? So if it's stock Android, you would think it would have the same things as the Google Pixel, but it does not. There are things that's missing out of it that you'll only find in a Pixel phone. There are only specific features you will only find in a Google Pixel phone. And if that is the reason why that the software takes a while for it to update, even if it's something as small as like a 36.61 megabyte, that downloads quickly. But updating the phone software, basically patching and optimizing it, that is the longest process part of updating a Pixel phone. And I can see why it would take a while if it is patching and using certain things such as the artificial intelligence. AI is a thing that's thrown around, but does anyone really know exactly what AI is and how the computing works? It's not a governed computing. It's a self-aware computing. It's a learning computing. And it's using its cores to basically learn you. See, every Pixel phone, you can have 10 Pixel 6s in a room with 10 different people, the 10 different owners. And those 10 pixels are not identical. They may be identical by the way the body is built. They may be identical by the way the camera sensors are. They may be identical with the fact that they're running Android. But how they're optimizing them and their performance is way different from each other because those 10 people in the room use their smartphones fully differently. The phone manufacturer for the last few years been copying each other off the last decade. They've been copying each other besides software tweaks, customization. Yeah, bro. But what do I need it to record my voice to be able to hold for me and stuff? The Pixel is amazing, but I don't even use. Then that's why I would say to you, Carlos, not being a dick here, but I would say there's no reason for you to actually have a Pixel. Then you can use anything else, Samsung, Motorola, because you use Android. You use Android. Those specific things, if they don't mean anything to you, it's not a big deal. But then here's the other thing. If you really don't like the fact that all these things are causing a software update to be almost an hour long or over an hour long, just get into the phone and flash stock Android. Like completely with none of the Pixel stuff in it and just flash stock Android. And I bet you it's going to be a much better experience. Like cut out all the stuff, the hold for me, the call spamming block, the call screening. Get an Android custom software that has none of that in it, bare bones, and flash that in there. And I guarantee you it's going to be a much better experience. And it's because the things that you don't need out of the Pixel is not present in it. And you could do that. You know you could do that. But what I'm saying, going back to the whole complaints and everything like that, is like, yes, there are valid complaints. I really wish that Google would have things working good out of the box. But I can't sit there and penalize Google deeply for the same things that other companies have had when they've launched their phones that people have passed. It's like, if you're going to do one, do for all. If the Pixel 6a is such a bad phone on release because of overheating, because of, the fingerprint sensor, then when like OnePlus drops a phone and its fingerprint sensor sucks, bomb it the same way. OnePlus. I was thinking of doing something like that. Yeah, why not? You're thinking of doing like that, back to the old Nexus days. Yeah, I mean, there was like Nexus has always just been like a hardware that houses Android, right? So going with the custom ROM on any of the Pixel 6s, the 6a, wouldn't be a bad idea if a lot of the things that are present in the Google Pixels are not needed, right? If you don't use Magic Eraser, that's not something that you use, get rid of it. Because these are all things that's tied to the AI in Google Pixel phones. That is the whole point of it. That was originally the whole point of why Pixels were even invented in the first place. I mean, yeah, Pixel makes it synonymous with photo taking, photography, and such, and they do pretty good. I mean, for the last couple of years, they were well ahead, but every other company has caught up. And so, yeah, Google's not really ahead anymore on the photo game. But they also made their phones to be helpful. And it's not just a slogan that they slap on the wall, to run an advertisement on. It really is helpful in a lot of ways. but not everybody really uses those functions, right? It's just like with the Google Pixel 4 and 4 XL, right? You had Project Soli, which is still being currently developed. A lot of people kind of forget that. They always wondered, like, why was this such a big thing in the Pixel 4 and the 4 XL? What was about it that made it so grand? And it was because they showcased how far they advanced in Project Soli with motion sense, a radar that was able to detect movement and understand what those movement gestures meant to do on whatever it was showcasing on the display. Dialing the knob down, switching between screens. Hell, you could probably even just do this, like flick this to make it scroll through your feed. But again, Project Soli still in, I guess you can say in beta, or more like an alpha than it is in beta. And so all they did, like the Pixel 4 and 4 XL, really was just Google's way of saying, hey guys, you know, we're still working on this motion sense, but check it out. We're going to throw it in one of our phones with just some very minor things you can do with it and have at it. And, you know, a lot of people were really quick to be like, it's gimmicky. Of course it's gimmicky. I don't need a YouTuber to get on to make a 5 to 10 minute video to tell me that motion sense was gimmicky. But no one really actually stopped to appreciate what the hell it was doing and the advancements that Google was making in it. That's the problem. Everybody can be very cynical about the Google Pixel phones, and hey, have at it till your heart's content. But you can't get pissed when somebody else looks at it from a different perspective. I will look at it the way that I choose to look at it, and can't nobody tell me how I gotta think about it, right? I will sit here and I'll convey exactly what I think, and everyone can tell me exactly what they think about it. But I will always have some sort of comeback, and it's not to sweep it under the rug and make an excuse for it. It's because at the end of the day, the root thing about all these complaints and everything like that is just simply being nitpicky. Because if you can't penalize OnePlus for it, and if you can't penalize Apple for it, and if you can't penalize Samsung for it, then what the fuck are you doing penalizing Google? And I will question that to anybody else. Like treat it all the same. And I guess this is what was being talked about credibility. When credibility was coming into play, people's credibility about things, and it's like, yeah, now I get it. Now it makes more sense, right? It makes more sense. Never mind the fact that people are comparing the Pixel 6a to flagship phones. And you know what? Like, I don't care. I think they're fun videos to watch. I know the Pixel 6a is a mid-range device. The Galaxy S22 Ultra is a premium flagship. I know that. I'm not stupid to look at it and say, oh, let me see how the Pixel 6a does if it beats out the Galaxy S21. It's the S22, sorry. It's not going to. I know that logically. It is fun to see somebody compare it, you know, just to see how well the Pixel 6a stacks up. And most of these people that are doing it don't even realize it. When they go and they have such bad things to say, they don't even realize they're actually giving points to the Pixel 6a. When you do a review on it and you show just about how good it can be compared to your S22 Ultra, you're kind of giving the 6a points. If you were really trying to showcase that it was bad, should have put it up against another mid-ranger that was pretty solid. The 6a is cool, just don't like how hard it gets. Yeah, you know what? And like, people have spitballed ideas, right? And I agree in some of those points. I do agree. I agree that Google needs to start thinking about internal cooling systems, right? I agree. But what better way it is, you know, for Google to like implement more of their gifted abilities and technology. And I say gifted abilities not to blow smoke up their ass, but just to say it as is. You know, they came up with Project Soli, right? Motion sense. They could probably come up with a pretty badass cooling system for future Pixel phones. And this is something that's probably... I ended up returning Pixel 6. Good phone, but it didn't do anything beyond my Sony Xperia. Flagship is still a flagship. Now, are you saying the 6 or the 6A? And you know what? That's totally cool. Like, everybody has their different preferences on things, right? So Sony's are like forgotten phones. Like, I feel like that Sony's have been like kind of left out on the sidelines because there were so much cool Sony phones that came out that I just feel like, you know, it's pretty underrated. Sony's pretty underrated, in my honest opinion. It's pretty underrated. They're hella good. The 6. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're hella good. Hella good. So with that being said, I think if I had to name one of the Sony phones that I really, really, really like, gosh, what the hell was it called? Maybe someone here remembers the name of it. Actually, I'll just like just Google it real quick. But it's a very small phone. And it had a very small display. This was like years ago. I know it was in the movie The Amazing Spider-Man. Peter Parker had it as a phone. But yeah, it's not the PSP phone or whatever it was called. The Xperia Mini? Yeah, this one. Okay, let me just kind of like screenshot really quickly, just kind of show you guys. But this was actually pretty cool though. All right. And okay, yeah, that phone right there, right above me. That phone was like hella cool for a Sony device, man. It was really cool as hell. A little small. There were two models. There were one that didn't have the QWERTY keyboard, but like I like the one with the QWERTY keyboard. That one was really good. I really dig that phone. Yeah, the PSP phone. My late good friend Alex, he had the phone, and it was so funny. He'd always come over, and I would play around with his phone, slide it open, and start playing Crash Bandicoot, and it was really, really cool. But yeah, I think it's the Xperia Mini or the Mini Pro. That's what it was called. But anyways, that was an amazing phone. And the reason why I say that is because also, kind of switching tracks here from, the Pixel 6a to Woes, not Wows, but let's kind of go on a more positive side now, so I don't sound like an old granny bitching about everything every 10 seconds. But my experiences with the Moto G Stylus, and I gotta tell everybody, it's been a very, very good experience so far. Very good experience. I remember the Palm Pixie. I remember the Palm Pre too. But yeah, so I have it here, Moto G Stylus, and I'm such a nerd, I had to go with the official Moto case for it. So this case is from Motorola. You see the Moto logo on it, and yeah, I really like this phone. The Moto G Stylus is just insanely good. There's just a few tweaks that I need to figure out. One of the things is that when I'm doing the dual capture mode on the phone, which allows me to record video using the selfie cam and the main sensor on the back. So for a good vlog style, right? That would be a great way to just make vlog videos. But sometimes the audio is out of sync. I know in one video that I posted, I think it was yesterday or the day before, the audio was out of sync towards the middle of the video, which kind of like sucks because posting a raw video, because I didn't edit that video went up straight from the phone itself, and for it to have the audio unsync like that kind of sucks. And I like to edit videos, but sometimes I don't like have to like sitting there and trying to measure out the timing and chop up the audio and try to realign it to fix it with my lip movement so it sounds natural. Sometimes I do that. It is a pain in the ass to do that, but I will do it to make a decent video. And yeah, so I got to figure out with the settings, what I need to do to kind of play around with this, so that way the audio and the video syncs up well. It could be the processor chip in itself is the reason why it's doing that. Because I've seen other devices that have a weaker chip tend to have those types of issues in videography a lot, which is the audio unsyncing. Totally sucks. Nexus lineup was amazing. Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of like, it'd be awesome to see like what would have happened to Motorola, because I had the Moto X4, I had the Moto, what was it? This is the G7. I forgot what it was, but I had the X4. I got it from Google Fi, both versions. So I had the black model, which was 64 gigs, and then the light blue model was 128. And that one took oh my god, that one just got damaged, and I wish it never did, because it was the Moto X4 was such a good phone. I really liked it. Biometric fingerprint sensor in the front. Like, I mean, I remember people were like, they copied iPhone. I really don't care. it worked out great. It took great photos. It was just such a hella good phone. So picking up the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022, there's so many different versions. Like I Googled and I YouTube to see like what most people talked about with their Moto G Stylus. And I had to literally specifically put 5G 2022 to find the right videos for this phone, because there's like, I didn't know there were that many G Styluses out there already. Like there was a G Stylus 2021 and the camera setup is pretty similar to the 2022, but then there's also a 2021 model that has the square module that copies iPhone with 4 sensors in the back of it. I'm like, wait a minute, how are these both 2021s? Like I was really just kind of out of it, and I was like, oh, they have quite a bit. But again, besides the little hiccup with the dual capture mode, I don't think when I was recording video, I don't think I had the because this does have OIS, so it has optic image stabilization. I just don't think I had it turned on with the main sensor. But I took a couple of photos. I posted those on Instagram. So if you guys are not following me on Instagram, please do so, and you guys can see the photos I'm talking about, because that's one thing I like about Motorola and OnePlus is that they timestamp their photos. I really wish Google would do just the little details like that. I wish Google would do that with the Pixels, right? How badass would it be if you took a phone from a Pixel? You wouldn't need to have to put a whole bunch of hashtags on Instagram, shot on Pixel, Pixel 6, or whatever. If the freaking thing had a watermark to just boom, say shot on Pixel, or Google Pixel 6, something that identified it was shot on a Pixel. But anyway, I like that feature. I like being able to post photos on Instagram and people can tell that I actually did take it from a Motorola device and not really question it. And the photos are really good. This is a mid-range device, okay? If I would say, Google can take a page out of Motorola's book when it comes to a mid-range. TCL has watermarks. You can add. Yeah, I've seen some people post on they have the TCL stylus, and they post photos from it, and it does have a little brand tag at the bottom. But there are other things too. Like, yes, the body's polycarbonate. I really care less about body build design and stuff like that. I mean, people just bitch and complain about phones. There's so many things that don't matter, like fingerprints. And I tell people, you really don't want fingerprints on your phone, then wash your freaking hands, because that's where your fingerprints come from, the oil on the tips of your finger. If you're OCD and you wash your hands a lot, you're not going to leave hardly any fingerprints on the phone, because there's no oil residue on your skin to transfer on to a plastic back or a glass back. But anyways, plastic phones don't annoy me. This phone's got some nice weight to it. It's kind of hefty. I dig the face unlock and biometric fingerprint sensor on it. So it does have face unlock. I can unlock it with my face. It can be tricked by a photo. It's just going to take you a little bit of time to do that. Oh yeah, glass back shatter nicely. Yeah. And I've always heard this argument, like, you need glass backs to have wireless charging. Not true, because I have the Nexus 7 2013 tablet. That has wireless charging, and that's with plastic back. So it can be done. Maybe the transfer of energy from coil to coil isn't so great with plastic versus glass. Maybe glass makes it for a much smoother transition and a much faster charge rate. And I get that. But let's not bullshit people and say you can't have wireless charging on a plastic phone. Yeah, you can. That one's always got me. But at least they're trying to make glass devices with glass backs a little bit more durable. There are devices that are releasing with Gorilla Glass Victus in the front and in the back of the phones, and that's always a nice touch. I mean, yeah, it's not really going to prevent the phone from ever shattering, but the way that it cracks out, at least it saves it from like pieces of it chipping off and falling off, and I gotta appreciate that. Oh yeah, just no metal backs for wireless charging. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want that. But using the Moto G Stylus has really rekindled just my excitement for non-pixel phones, right? I know, right? The guy who just a while ago pretty much laid out things that are just ridiculous about complaints with Google Pixel phones versus the legit complaints is literally saying that they're having fun not using a Pixel phone. And really, I am. I carry my Pixel 6 with me every day because this is my main line. And the phone that I use and I've been using at work and everything has been my Moto G Stylus, right? I have another phone. I have the OnePlus N200. I like using this phone. Just I don't know. There's just something about Oxygen OS that I like, and so I like using it. The cameras on it aren't the greatest, especially like right now. If I snapped a photo right now, my photos would be grainy as hell if I took it with the N200. But if I was outside with my N200, it takes really good photos outside. And so, you know what? Like if I go sightseeing with my kids and such, I'm not really going to lose out on photo quality, except for like white background. Like this camera, the white background's blown out, then that happens with the N200. That kind of happens from time to time with my G Stylus. Not so much. The photos have been great. I posted up to Instagram. Go ahead and check them out. And they do fantastic. The photo I took of right when before the storm hit, because I threw I combined my son and my daughter's birthday together, just because school starts next week. My daughter will be back in school for her birthday, so I wanted her to have a party too. So we combined theirs together. And it was a surprise party. They had no idea that I shelled out, to get a place that has like video games and games and stuff like that, and paid to have this event go down. And so we had guests coming over. My kids were surprised, and right as the party started, a thunderstorm hit my city. And so when it hit my city, right when it was coming in, I went outside and I snapped a photo of how it looked, and it just looked insane. That photo came from the Moto G Stylus, and I was like, wow, that looked pretty good. And my brother Ruben, who's an amateur photographer, he looked at the photo and he was like, now he's on the fence because he was going to get the Pixel 6a because he has the Pixel 6, but he wanted to get the Pixel 6a just because, like, he the Pixel 6 is his stepdaughter's and she lets him use it from time to time. He has a Pixel 3. But now he's considering getting the Moto G Stylus because of the photos. And then, the stylus is, it helps out for editing. I mean, I edit easily on there. If you shoot action, Pixel is awesome. Yeah. There are some things with the Pixels that's like really good. Features and stuff like that you get from photography from it. I mean, it's pretty good. Every phone has its plus and minuses. That's the way that I look at mobile technology. Every phone is going to have its plus and minuses. So look on the bright side of things. Is the glass half full to you, or is it half empty? If you feel it's half empty, then it's not the phone for you. But if you feel it's half full, then it's something that you can work around with. If you feel that the phone can quench your thirst, well, then that is specifically the phone for you. That's how it is. Everybody looks at things very differently. I use things in a very different way. I still like using older phones like the Pixel 2 XL. I still love using this phone, and it's outdated. It's got Android 11 and whatnot. It's not running its own chip, and that's also too another thing. Like, people are like, they want the Pixels back on Qualcomm. I beg to differ, and I disagree. That's like saying tell Apple and to have Qualcomm chips in their iPhone. Do away with the A Bionics. No one wants them to do that because they want everything built in house, and I want the same for the Google Pixel phones. Plus, two, with Qualcomm's, that would be a limitation on how long the phone would survive. Versus if Google just made their own chip, they govern basically how long their phone would survive. So go figure on that. But anyways, back to the Moto G Stylus. So the Tensor 2, yeah, I'm hearing that they've made great leaps and bounds performances on the Tensor 2 from a lot of the mistakes they've seen in the Tensor 1. And that's why we needed these things to happen with the Tensor 1. Gives Google a footing to understand what they need to and how they should approach with the Tensor 2, which has already been built. The chip is already built. They're already in the Pixel 7s. They're manufacturing them batch by batch. And before you know it, in like 2 months, we're already hitting my favorite time of the year, Halloween, and Made by Google event. In the meantime, my favorite phone to use right now is the Moto G Stylus. And I had to be super geeky and get an official Motorola case. $16.99 on Amazon for the case. And I chose the maroon color one. I just wanted something that was a little bit different. They had a green one, a black one, a dark blue one. This one was the only one that just seemed odd out of all of them. So I was like, yeah, let me get that one. So, I got it. Yo, what's up, Lawrence? What's going on? Our character punching in the air with a fist bump. Boom. Dude, I love your speed test videos, Lawrence. I mean, has anyone ever really looked at Lawrence's videos lately? Is anyone like actually really looking at his videos? I watch his videos, and I love the whole setup. Rather than going portrait like how my videos are in portrait mode. Like he shoots, I mean, obviously he screen records it, and it's going to be in portrait because it's a screen record of his speed test that he goes around Hawaii and he does speed tests. But I just love the way he sets up the animations for like the sidebars to the screen grab video. He puts animations there to kind of liven it up, and it's fun to watch. If you guys aren't subscribed to Lawrence, subscribe to his channel. I mean, it's so awesome. Drop a link in the chat so people can find your channel, my dude. And yeah, his speed tests are pretty awesome, pretty awesome. So yeah, definitely thumbs up on your videos, man. Yeah, and you know what? It like, you know, me just being like someone that watches YouTube videos, it's working. It's got to be working because when I watch it, I feel like, you know, when you look at someone's video and you're like, wow, I just can't stop watching it, you know. But there's some people like you watch their videos and like halfway through the video, you're like, oh, okay, I think I had enough, and you click out of it. I don't click out of your videos, man. I don't click out of your videos because I watch it from beginning to end. It captivates. So just being honest. But yeah, my experience with the Moto G Stylus it's just been good, man. I would seriously would recommend it for a nice mid-ranger. And if you're going on Metro by T-Mobile, you can actually get the phone for $10 if you port a number over. If you got like a burner number that you're like, let me port this over to Metro, you can get the Moto G Stylus for $9 or $9.99, $10 basically. And it's a hell of a deal. Nice. And of course, for those people who are so hung up on the refresh rate, it has 128. Well, no, just it has 128 gigs of internal storage. It's got 120 hertz refresh rate, is what I meant to say. It has a higher refresh rate than the Pixel 6. So, hey, for those people who want to watch their pH in such clarity, you have it there. Motorola is only as relevant as we make it relevant. Okay, at the end of the day, we're content creators, and what we choose to cover, what we choose to review, sets the tone for what is out there. Like right now, and in the coming future, I am already in talks with Xiaomi about getting products from them. They have already sent me out an email a month ago that I thought was BS until I looked more into it. Found out it's actually legit. Of course, you know, there are NDAs that I have to follow, so I can't tell nobody what are these things that they're looking to work with me and other content creators on. But I am happy, at the same time very humbled that they even thought of me. And so I can't wait for 2023. There's gonna be some cool stuff coming. And Xiaomi, I've heard a lot about their phones. I've heard nothing but good things about them. I know it's a Chinese brand, and there's people that are like, it's Chinese manufactured, I don't trust it. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try it out. And it's more than just phones. I'll tell people that it's more than just phones that I'm talking with them about. So hopefully this goes through. Hopefully, because I'm very excited to be able to test out Xiaomi. So again, to all this stuff, it just depends on what we review, what we're interested in. If we're only interested in Google Pixel phones like I am, you know, it's gonna become stale at some point for a lot of people. You'll have to try out different things, and you know, this is a lesson that I've learned recently. Going out and getting me the OnePlus N200, and even though, you know, it's not a flagship, there are good qualities of this phone that I really like, and it's in rotation now. I got a SIM in here. I'm using it. Yeah, it's Q-Link wireless. It's not like gonna have like the fastest 5G speeds, but it has good enough data for me to watch YouTube videos and to be on Twitter and be on Facebook. So I have my Q-Link SIM in my N200, and yeah, that's a free line. My Boost mobile line is in my Pixel 5, and it's still on the EBB program. It's supposed to have been moved over to ACP, but it has not. I'm not going to argue it. So that Boost mobile line I have is still free. I have Visible in the Pixel 6, and yeah, it's still awesome. It's so awesome. Great speeds with what is it, N77, since we have C-band live here in my city, and it does fairly good. I know that the visible's capped at like 200. My phone peaks at like 230 megabits per second consistently with the uplink of like 50 megabits per second. So that's actually pretty good. And when I'm at work and I'm inside the building, my visible line has the best phone reception for phone calls. I can be in the elevator at my work and keep my phone calls going. When I'm in the elevator with my Metro line, by the time I hit like the third or fourth floor, it cuts out. And then when I get off the elevator, I have to call the person back. So go figure, right? Which is what's in the Stylus is Metro. And yeah, it works out great. All right, B-Tech, man, thanks for popping in, man. Appreciate you. Xiaomi is real. I had a Mi wrist tracker. It worked well. Awesome. You know what? It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, like I said, they're more than just smartphones, right? Yeah, so you're gonna have to try and find some sort of method. Boost Mobile has like the worst phone unlock policy, right? Like Metro, you know, the phone has to be active at least 6 months, and then you use the app that Metro has. You download it, and then you can unlock a Metro phone. Boost Mobile, you have to have it for a year, and it has to be a year straight. You cannot switch and swap out for another phone, because if you swap that phone back onto your Boost Mobile line, the 1 year starts over again, according to them. So that sucks. But yeah, Boost Mobile really needs to update. Now that they're owned by Dish, I would have thought that they would have just changed the way their unlock policy is, but I guess they're not going to. But yeah, they need to make the phone unlock policies much better, because there are people who are like, I can get this phone at Boost Mobile. It was like, what was it, the S20? I think it was the S22 or S22 Ultra is on Boost Mobile for $800, and someone was like, I'm gonna go buy it, and I'm like, that's a bad idea, because if you buy that phone, you're not going to be able to unlock it to go to another carrier right away. You have to keep it active on Boost Mobile for 1 year. Yeah, it's just a crazy thing. And there is a reason why they do this. I know people hate it because they're like, hey, you know, it's my phone. I want to be able to take it where I want to go. But the ultimate reason why they do it, one of the main reasons they do it, is that they don't want people coming to them to buy the phone because it's cheaper through them for them to take it somewhere else. You know, so they at least, you know, try to set parameters for like how long the phone has to be with them before they'll unlock it. And like Metro has a good footing on it. 6 months isn't too bad. I mean, half a year, it's half of what Boost Mobile makes you wait. So yeah, some companies do 90 days. I think Verizon doesn't even lock phones anymore. If they do, it's like after 60 days, so 2 months, and the phone is unlocked. I mean, yeah. But anyways, main phones that I carry with me every day: Pixel 6, Moto G Stylus, 5G 2022 to be more specific. Great phones. Great phone. Very great phone. And I really dig this one. And I will throw my name on it to say, if you can get one, get one. You're not going to be disappointed. I've been using it for days, and there's not anything I've done that's caused it to have a hiccup. But anyways, that's it for the podcast, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me and chilling with me. Shout out to all of you for being here. Really appreciate you guys for coming through and keeping the chat fun and live and having dialogue. I'll see you guys this Saturday. I don't got much going on this Saturday, so Saturday will be another podcast episode. And I'm actually going to post a poll on Twitter and let you guys vote on what I'm going to talk about this Saturday. So be on the lookout for that tweet. Follow me on Twitter. That's aloha_android. That's dope. Follow me on Instagram. Same tag. aloha_android. Yeah. I post photos and videos and such there. And I'm going to try to get more creative with the Moto G Stylus. I really love that dual capture thing. You guys probably know it because you're like, dude, this dude that keeps uploading shit with that dual capture. Like, come on, bro. I'm a nerd. I'm a fucking nerd. This is what I like. So, anyways, thank you. I'll see y'all later. Y'all be cool. Be safe out there. Aloha.